Welcome, everyone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Jessica, hi. Anna, welcome. Joanna, Sergey, Camila, Jenny, Irene, and Isil, welcome, everyone. Nice to hear you all here. Welcome to our L&D Shakers ThoughtLab session. So while we are giving the rest to also join, I would like to ask you a question. You can give your answers in the chat. And the question is, what is one thing you are struggling the most when it comes to public speaking? I will repeat the question for those who just joined. Hi, Mark. Hi, Joanna. What is one thing you are struggling the most when it comes to public speaking? Okay, and in the meantime, I will enable the waiting room. Okay. We have the answers coming. Irene, Joanna, nice. So what do we have here? Define a proper storytelling for the audience. Response from Sergey. Jessica, remembering my key points. I think a lot recognize this fear when you forget everything you learned the moment you stand in front of the audience. Speaking too fast from Anna. Mark, keeping the message concise. Irene, being relatable. Joanna, control the speed of my voice. I think, yeah, I recognize it as well. Emy, how about you? I think when you're in a stress, you are starting to talk either too fast or your voice is shaken.
Yeah, for sure. Forgetting my lines or what I'm supposed to say. Yeah, just getting in my head. I think it's something very familiar.
We have the response from Isil, the balance between the interaction and making a point. Jenny, I feel happy about public speaking. I'm just not getting chance to do it much. No worries. I hope you can still hear us in the cafe. Great. So I think we can kick off. So first of all, welcome everyone. This is L&D Shakers community event, which is called ThoughtLab. My name is Valeria Forestanova. I will be your co-facilitator of the session. A bit about the L&D Shakers. It's a worldwide L&D community which began maybe 6 years ago in Amsterdam with a cohort of 4-5 people who had this dream to spread the ideas, to share experience, and then from a small group of people who were based in Amsterdam, now it's a huge community that has around 8,000 people on LinkedIn, and we have also a channel on Slack, which has about 5,000 or 4,000 people. So you're welcome to join if you are not part of Slack or LinkedIn yet, to stay on track with all our events. And ThoughtLab session is the event where we invite different guests every time. And today I'm happy to share this session with Emy. In this session, our guests are sharing their experience when it comes to L&D, when it comes to the lessons learned within the L&D topic, and share their expertise about a specific topic. So how this idea of the TEDx session pop up, we met with Emy so many times offline in Amsterdam sessions, and Emy, was it half a year ago that Emy joined TEDx as a speaker? And I thought, wow, it's such a great experience. And back then it was still fresh. And I invited Emy to share her fresh feelings about how was it for her, what challenges, fears, because it's always interesting to hear from the first point. So here today we have Emy Mylona with us, and Emy, I will give a word to you to introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
Super. Thank you so much for having me and for the invitation. I think it's it's such a nice topic for me to talk about, and really happy to share with you all. So yeah, I live in Amsterdam for the last 8 years. Originally, I'm from Athens, Greece, and my background was well, I started as a recruiter, then moved to HR, then moved to learning and development. Now work in learning and development as a program manager. But like public speaking was always something that I really, really wanted to do more professionally. I was part of volunteer organizations when I was a student, so we were organizing conferences. So I was on stage presenting and delivering some speeches every now and then. So I think the exposure so early on gave me a lot of confidence. But when I remember the first speech versus my latest one, it's such a big difference, such a big journey. I remember that when I first got on stage to deliver a speech that I had written down in front of 300 people, I never lifted my head off my paper. And when I was walking back to my seat, my knees were trembling so much, I was like, I'm just gonna fall down. So yeah, I'm happy to share with with you my journey as to how to overcome all of this, because I think public speaking is not something that just you're not born with it, but it's something that definitely you can practice. And I think some techniques that I have worked for me maybe work for you. So yeah, super happy to be here with you.
Cool, Emy. Thank you for the intro, and I also want to give a big round of applause to everyone here who joined the session for your amazing questions. And I told Emy that we have so many of them that we can just not bother with the slides, but have a more open discussion and have a conversation, like interviewing Emy. But also, if you have a pop-up question, also feel free to raise your hand. The idea is to use this time of lunch and learn to get the most out of this experience sharing. So, Emy, I shared to you before the session the structure of the questions we received, and I decided to cluster them based on the way the process of the TEDx preparation goes. And we can start with the first, getting there, the first chapter, opportunities and application. So how to apply for TEDx spot, how to secure that you get an opportunity to talk on a TEDx.
Yeah, I think so. For me, was like TEDx was always my North Star. I think when I first created my vision board, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, I had a TEDx picture in there. So I always wanted to pursue it. I think first I was really crafting the idea of, okay, like if I go for this, then what makes my idea different. So that was already the preparation in my mind, but we can talk more about that later. I think what I started to do was to discover what are the possible events near my area. So around Amsterdam in the Netherlands, I was Googling a lot, like, I don't know, TEDx event, Netherlands 2024 or something. And I also got to see, based on past events, which events also have open applications, because I think there are some events that you are invited, and there's some applications that you can make an open application. And I was also looking for events in my home country, in Greece, but this didn't happen. What I stumbled upon was actually a pitch night from TEDx Eindhoven. And they were doing kind of like a preparatory event where you apply, and then you can be among the 10 people selected, and then you just go on stage to pitch your idea for 5 minutes, and then there's a panel where they decide which top 3 or 4, I think, people will get to the main event. So I think that was a very nice opportunity to start. But then I think in general, just searching for events and seeing based on previous years which events are open, helped me to make a list. And then when the time came for next year, then I had in mind, okay, like TEDx Eindhoven have their open applications around this time. So then next time I will be prepared to apply.
Did you get any help while preparing for this pre-stage of the TEDx when there was a pre-selection?
Um, I think it was very small scale, of course. I think from the application itself, I think I remember we had to send in a video and just describe our idea. And then on the day itself, of course, we were also practicing with other speakers and also just talking about the idea and also exchanging tips of how other people are doing it. I think it was a very like nice testing ground to do it. But I think on a main TEDx event, that the one that I went afterwards, you have a coach to help you throughout the preparation. I think it's different depending on the event you are. So larger events have a bit more structure, more rehearsals. We had opportunity. Mine was a bit smaller scale, but we did have a speaking coach, and then I met with her multiple times to craft my speech. So you definitely have help once you make it to the event itself. Yeah.
I'm very curious, how many people were there in this first stage when it was just selecting process?
I think at the time it was around 100, the audience itself. But yeah, I think that it was for me that was not comparable to the actual thing because it was only 5 minutes. So for me it was very easy to memorize everything. I think I didn't even like at that one I didn't practice until the day itself, and I practiced like 2 times or 3 times with my friend on the way to Eindhoven, and that was it. So I think it was more like, the safe space before the actual thing. But yeah, the audience was also very supportive because of course when you go to this event, like everybody comes to support their friends. So it was also really nice to network after, and I also met a lot of people that I still keep in touch from there, which also helped me to find other speaking opportunities because all of us were kind of looking for the same thing. So whenever something popped up, I was messaging my friends, and they were messaging me on, and I think that also cascades into like a snowball effect that, then you get access to many more opportunities that you wouldn't have otherwise.
If you remember yourself before this selection stage and after selection stage, what was the difference in your mindset and expectations?
I think before I was, I think I was blissfully unaware of, like I didn't have any nerves. I was quite like, I was feeling very, very good about my idea and my approach, and like walking on stage was easy at the time. I think also afterwards it also started to make me think, like, how can I even craft on my idea better? How can I make it more compelling? How can I make it worth spreading? Because I think the difference between TEDx and other speaking opportunities is that it's really focusing on the idea. If the idea is not strong enough, you don't have, I don't know, Q&A with the audience to support you. You don't have a lot of heavy slides to support you. You need to really make it all about the speech and the story, and it's just 20 minutes, all lights on you, and just talk, talk, talk. And I think other speaking opportunities for me are way, way easier. But this one was, I think afterwards I got to understand that, okay, like this is a biggest endeavor that I thought.
And Emy, just to confirm, the topic you chose in this pre-selection stage, was it the same that you took further on, or you were able to change it?
Yeah, it was kind of the same. Of course, I changed a few things here and there, but the core idea was the same. I wanted to speak about team building and playing in the workplace and how we can create high performing teams through the power of gamification and play.
Oh, cool. Um, Talking about the content and the preparation, moving to the next cluster of the questions we received, your approach to storytelling and make it relatable. How much preparation is needed? Memory techniques, using a scripts versus framework?
I think the preparation itself was one of the most challenging aspects of it. Like if I look back on it, I think I really struggled with just getting to it because when I was my approach and my way of working in this one was to start thinking about the main components of my story. So what is the introduction? Maybe I want to add more scientific base in the middle. How personable I want to make, how much humor do I want to add? And then once I have the main, let's say, components, then adding a few more like elements to just make it more engaging. I think I also started reading books about how to deliver TEDx. I also watched a lot of other TED Talks that I remember when I was watching younger. So just to understand, okay, what are what is the secret recipe for of people? And I saw a lot of commonalities that, you know, how people make it personable, how you maybe start with a personal anecdote. And I think after creating, let's say, the main skeleton, then I started actually writing it. And then when I was writing it, I was reading again and again my sentences, and then I was kind of making more of a with a critical eye to say, okay, is this clear enough? Is this believable enough? Is it compelling enough? Is it interesting enough? So all of these, and from the organizing committee, they send us a lot of resources over the course of the weeks before the event, with some tips based on the TEDx Academy and the TED community in general. So all of these questions were not mine; they were in a handout. So just also to make your story even more believable. And I think getting there was quite hard because I always was thinking, okay, but for me it's an important topic, but how can I make it important for other people that don't know anything about it? So I was changing a lot what I was saying, how I was saying it. And then I think one thing that I struggled as well is that it was too long up until the very last moment. And I was trying to like cut, like I was trying to kill my darlings for a long time until the day itself, where I was like, okay, this is like now 19 minutes now, I can leave it be.
I remember when we met in Amsterdam for the Shakers meetup, you mentioned that the talk was like 20 minutes, right? And you had to
Yeah.
constantly you have to talk. We mentioned a bit about the techniques. You said you had to repeat and repeat. Maybe there were the top secret that help you to stick to your script and remember it and avoid using, I don't know if it's even allowed to use any paper.
Yeah, so I think there were some techniques that other people were using. Like, of course, maybe you could write on your hand, or we also had, I think, we could have had slides, and I think also the slides could help me a bit because I was using slides with just pictures every chapter. So if I say, okay, like this is my introductory chapter, this is the picture. So in here, when this picture is shown, I'm talking about this. And then when I switch picture, I remember the last sentence and the first sentence. And then I say, okay, like now I change picture and now I'm talking about this topic. I think, yeah, the main challenge is that when you speak for 17, 18 minutes, how much it was, I don't remember exactly, but this was like, for me, I cannot memorize everything. I think I was really trying to memorize it for the longest time. And then also my rehearsals before, I was stumbling on my words a lot. We had two main rehearsals on stage, the evening before and the morning of the event. The evening off, I had still my papers to read from, and the morning off, I think I mixed my paragraphs. So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to remember. Like I honestly was not there. But I think so. What happened was that when I went on stage, I only describe it as kind of like an out of body experience. it was as if someone pressed play and then the words just came out of my mouth. And at some point I was like, I'm not even in control. Like I'm talking, but I'm not realizing what I'm talking. And the moment I was like, what am I saying now? This was the moment where I just stumbled. So I think it's I can only describe it as if you really know what you're talking about, you don't like stay too much on the specific word or the specific sentence. Like even if you miss a sentence, it's fine. I think it really helps to write it. And the more you write it, the more you read it, at some point it just comes into you. But then if you have to say it out loud, sometimes you will forget, and it's fine. I think the important thing also for me is that if you forget something, just move to the next point, move to the next thing you remember, and it's people will not know the two sentences that you missed. So that was what helped me, and then also maybe also passing to the nerves thing, because I think the nerves were also a big component of being on stage, especially for that event, because you don't have any help. Like I did not rely on anything to help me remember, but something that I didn't know it would help at the time, but it did, was to find my friends on stage. And then I remember that it was I think the first or second paragraph, and I was like, okay, I didn't forget anything. I didn't forget anything. So I was like calming myself down in my head as I was talking. And then at some point, I think I looked at the audience and saw one of my friends like really, really smiling, and I was like, okay, we're good. Like people like it. It's fine. And it also helps to engage with the audience a bit. So then you can also feed off of their energy. So yeah, I think just to summarize in terms of techniques and memory, and it really helps to practice. It helps to write it down. It helps to just keep on working on it for months, even if you don't have the full thing. I think for me it was very easy, for example, to remember the first three paragraphs because I have override them, and these were the ones that were read the most in the beginning. So I was, yeah, talking about them a lot. But then when the time comes to actually go on stage, just stop, and then I think your body will just take over.
Cool. We spoke also briefly about this flow, that you forget what is happening, you just go into this flow and you trust yourself. Emy, we have two questions. One from Irena asking, is it not 18-minute limits? But you mentioned that you don't remember.
I think my speech originally was 20 minutes, but I had to cut it to 18. That's why I was confused. But yeah, good point, Irena. Thanks.
And we have also a question from Sergey asking, would you say that the nature of your changes were more about removing, or more details here and there, or a complete change of storyline?
I think was more about because I think at the beginning I was more preoccupied with the words that I was using, just to make it sound I don't know, more interesting, or describing one thing with one sentence more than it should have. Didn't change the storyline. I only removed details that were unnecessary. Or if I wanted to make a point, and then I was like, okay, but does it add to the story? If it doesn't add to the story, I can also remove it. But so I think one of the main components was that I was my speech had an introduction, because so I was talking a lot about, okay, what is the problem we're trying to solve, and then coming to the solution. I think I was also expanding on too much, like giving a very like full down of how my solution would be. But then just focusing on, okay, what is the core element of core idea? Because TEDx is not about, I'm not convince you to, I don't want to convince you to follow my solution step by step. I just want to give you the idea, and then people can follow up on the idea later. So I think it was more about, okay, what is the essence? Just sticking to the main point.
Thanks. Let's move to the next cluster, which is delivering the talk. We already spoke about your confidence, how you manage the stress and nerves. Did you have a moment when you noticed that the audience was not responding, apart from your friends who were smiling?
I think there was one. I had, I think, 3 or 4 moments of interacting with the audience. For me, there was a time that people did not raise their hand that much. But then in my mind, I was like, okay, I can work with either responses, maybe because I was planning on, okay, what if a lot of people respond? How can I comment? And what if people do not respond? So this, for example, was not scripted. So I think just responding to what I see was something I said to myself, it will just be on the spot. But then afterwards, connecting to the main idea was the challenge, just to say, okay, like if they say yes, then it makes more sense. If they say no, then I need to make it more compelling. So then I, for example, said, okay, like you seem to be, for example, experienced with this, but in my experience, I've seen so many times that people do not have the same confidence as you do. So just I think it's important to also be flexible and agile and not really sticking to the script as itself, because then I think you also lose that connection. People will not understand if you just came there to deliver a script, whereas sometimes you can have the interaction, you can have this impromptu moments. And I think we have also seen it in other TEDx speakers that they make jokes, they also sometimes make it more personal and more conversational. And that's, I had moments after each audience interaction where I was like, hey, just comment what you see, and that worked.
Talking about body language, did you have any, or do you have any tips you can share that worked for you, that maybe you applied?
Yeah, so I think one of the limitations of TEDx is that you have to stay in one spot because you have cameras and you need to stay in the middle of the carpet. So they also told us, like, don't move too much. And I think it was, for me, it was about controlling my pace, just having one step to the right, one step to the left, and then using my hands when I wanted to explain something. I think the body language for me is very important of, what you do with your face, like smiling and really showing that you're passionate. And I think that really translates to the audience. The energy that you bring on stage is very, very important. And also your ability to show at least that you're calm, even if you're not. I think that really helps. And then afterwards, you see that the audience responds, and then for me, it really calms me down when I'm like, okay, it's a safe space here, like everybody. And I think that's also something that I use as a technique to help me with public speaking in general, is that whenever I stepped on stage, I have this idea that, okay, all of these people came to see me. So I don't have to grab their attention. I don't have to do anything. I just have to, say what they expect to hear, which if I go, for example, on stage and then, I don't know, have an audience who, I don't know, came for a different event and I have to catch their attention, for me, that's way harder. But if I say, okay, like they are already seated, they're already paying attention, they're already quiet, like I don't have to do a lot. So I think that's also something that really makes me feel that, okay, the stage is safe because I don't have to do more than people expect me to do, and it really has helped me to not be afraid of stepping on in front of 150, 250, 300 people.
That's, by the way, can be an answer to my next question, which was most surprising, unexpected things. Maybe you have something else to add.
If for the event itself,
Maybe around the TEDx experience.
I think, yeah, like I wasn't. There were multiple times through the journey where I was not really expecting what would come out. I think I spoke about the process of writing the speech, which I think was more difficult than I thought. And then something that really helped me was talking about the speech with different people, because I think it was like, I'm a big procrastinator, so I did everything very late in the process. So like 2 days before the event, I started rehearsing with my friends. And first I was rehearsing with a friend that knew my idea and she has watched different talks about it. And then I spoke with another friend who had no idea about the topic, completely different background. I'm in HR, he's, I don't know, software engineering. So his comments were from the point of view that I don't know anything about your topic. I connect with my team in that way. I'm not a manager, so I'm not a people person. So I think his comments were very helpful to really make it adaptable to every audience. So I wasn't expecting to have a lot of so interesting comments and the feedback that really made, I think, the speech at the end the best version it could be. Like if I go back now to my speech, I wouldn't really change anything in what I said. Whereas that was not the case in the pitch event. In the pre-event that I did in TEDx Eindhoven, I would change pretty much everything, because the thought process of, okay, what does the audience need to hear right now? What are the important things? What are the basic idea that I want them to live with in those 5 minutes I have with them? The focus was different. So, but in the main event in TEDx Hotel School The Hague, I think the flow was well crafted because it had gone through a lot of changes through different audiences, a lot of iterations.
I see. Emy, that's a great bridge to the question that Jenny raised in the chat, because you mentioned you were practicing with your colleagues, with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the question from Jenny, did you have a favorite TEDx talk you watched in the past that spurred you on?
Yeah, I think my favorite one, and probably one of the first ones I watched was the speech from Sir Ken Robinson about education, and I think it's called "Do Schools Kill Creativity" or something like that. So he was talking about the education, how we prepare the future generation to be creative, and what is the how the educational system is failing them at the moment. And I thought it was such an intelligent speech because he's so sarcastic, and the humor that he has and the way that he connects with the audience is so unique, that I was completely captivated from beginning to the end. And I think this is one of the challenges of TEDx, is that you have 18 minutes that the audience is looking at you, and 18 minutes is long. It's very long. Like, I didn't realize how long it would be. But then that means that you need to engage with them for 18 minutes straight, and they have nowhere else to look. They have nobody else to look at. You don't have screens, you don't have intermezzo's, you don't have a video for them to look. It's just you. And I think the ability to also change the pace, to also change your tone, to maybe make a joke in the beginning and then get serious, and maybe convey emotion, and maybe do a story. So there's so many techniques involved, and I think he did it super masterfully. So I think that was one of the best that I've seen, not only in terms of content but in terms of delivery as well.
Thanks, Emy. Maybe if anyone in this session have their own favorite TEDx speakers you would like to share with the rest, feel free to share in the chat. Emy, your 3 tips to somebody who is just in the beginning of this journey, who is thinking about to perform on TEDx stage.
Yeah. I think one thing that really helped me was my network. And I think I was never the person who would pay too much attention networking, but it kind of came naturally, especially after the TEDx event in Eindhoven. I met 2 people that really helped me, Neha Lagu-Ratnakar and Abdullah Had. These 2 people I still keep in touch with, and both of them have sent me tips. I talked with them about how to do my speech better, giving tips, and also they sent me some opportunities, some platforms I wasn't aware before. So I think having people around you who are kind of looking for the same thing, you can help each other out. And I think this synergy of what can come out of just working with each other and helping out each other, I think that really helped. I think also for in general for speeches, I think practice is very, very important. I think I also underestimated how much it would help until that moment where I started rehearsing with people. I was like, damn, like I have so many nice comments and such nice feedback. So I think like practice and crafting your idea, it's a never-ending process. It's something that you can always make better and create something different and expand on the idea. Because I talked about something now, but then if I decide to do it, I don't know, in 1, 2, 3 years, I want this idea to have evolved. So if you have something that you're really passionate about, that you want to share with the world, keep on working on your idea as you go. And I think the third tip would be don't think about it too much, because I think I'm an overthinker, and I think that was one of the things that I had to let go of. Having complete control, making everything look perfect, because in the process, like struggling to finish my pitch so I can send it for feedback, being very late with my rehearsals, having not practiced my full speech by the night before even. I think that really challenged me to be okay, like this is not perfect. Like this is not the standard journey that you hear people talk. Like people have practiced, I don't know, 10 times more than me. Um, but at the end, I don't think it really matters, in a way that if you know what you want to talk about, don't get too hung up on what is the perfect word and what is the perfect sentence, and let's make the perfect joke. Let's ask the perfect question to the audience. I think letting go of control of, okay, it will not probably be perfect, but it's good enough to be out there. I think that really helps to just ease off the pressure, because I think there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations. The TEDx stage comes already with a lot of yeah, like so many people have worked there before. It's not just any speaking opportunity. It's so special and unique in its own way, and has different standards, different expectations. So don't make it harder on yourself by putting all of these expectations on top.
I mean, you mentioned Neha, and wanted to highlight the beauty of the L&D Shakers community, any community, but since we are in the L&D Shakers community, Neha is part of Shakers, so you can reach out to her if you are in this journey and need some advice. So reach out to Emy and to Neha as well. You can find them on Slack and on LinkedIn. Emy, maybe the last question from my side, and then we can open up the mic for pop-up questions. How did you feel that this experience impacted somehow your further life after TEDx?
I think for me it was a confirmation of that everything that I've done so far led to this moment. Like I was manifesting TEDx for a very, very long time. And I think it really affirmed that, okay, like it happened, and just also enjoying the process and enjoying the moment and share it with my friends was something super, super unique. And I think it also helped me to understand that, there's always another challenge, there's always something that I can do more, but it's also okay to just savor the moment in that sense. And when it comes to speaking afterwards, I think it also showed me that, yeah, like having very firm belief of your idea and getting to that flow state that I was when I was delivering the speech, that was for me something that I don't think I hope I can experience again, let's say. So I think then being able to say, okay, like this was a big challenge, bigger than I thought when I signed up for it, but being able to deliver and to deliver in a way that I was never expecting that it would work. I was really thinking I would just completely miss all my lines. That gave me more strength and confidence to say, okay, like if I can do this, then there's also so many other things I can do. But also, when I left the stage, I wasn't really thinking about what's next, and I think that's also for me that's that's a nice maturity point, because I was always like, okay, what is next? What is next? What's next? And now, for example, I have some ideas about, okay, like, do I want to do this again? Do I want to try maybe to a bigger stage? But yeah, for now, I think it's time to keep on crafting the idea, keep on developing, keep on testing it, maybe, so then I have if I do this again, then it will be something different. But I still want to, yeah, stay within the same alley. And of course, like if you want to try to convey your idea, it doesn't have to be that you speak but only one thing. That's very personal to everybody. But I think when choosing a topic, just know that this is something that you're passionate for, and it doesn't have to be something that you created. It doesn't have to be something that is, I don't know, this super big innovative thing. I wasn't talking about something that was not existing like 100 years ago, but still find what is the unique about you sharing this idea, and what you bring. So I think it's a nice process to to find that for yourself when preparing.
Thank you, Emy. And I would like to open the mic for everyone who is willing to ask any question that was not yet raised. So feel free. And ladies, and we have Sergey is thinking. I want to, Emy, share the comments we have in the chats. We have the comment from Irena that a great affirming advice from you, Emy. We also received a lot of recommendations regarding TEDx talks and also the books. Thank you, Emy, Jenny, Jessica. And also a warm message from Jessica saying she has never considered speaking on the TEDx stage, and you, Emy, inspired her. She's new to Europe and L&D shaker, so thank you. Very sweet, Jessica.
Amazing.
Thank you for your message. Please feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions left that you want to ask Emy.
I have a question. Emy, you shared, thank you, was also my question. How did you get a spot in the TEDx? And you said you have done quite a bit of a preparation. I felt like you researched a lot in Netherlands, in Greece. What was your main motivation? What would you want to accomplish by speaking on a stage?
I think what drove me to pursue it was my belief that people could benefit from listening to what I had to say, to the idea, that which is something that helped me. I've seen it helping companies and teams and other people, and I think the drive and the motivation to say, okay, the world needs to hear this, and I think it was also a firm belief that it's important enough to have a spot on the stage. It's maybe not something new, it's not something super innovative, but it's something that could change, and I've seen it changing teams and how they operate. So I think it was a combination of, okay, I'm ready now because I've tested it. I've seen it work in different teams. I have the experience of trying this myself as a participant in these conferences which was my inspiration. So it was a combination of, okay, I'm ready to do this myself, and I think the idea is mature enough to be shared. And I think that the TEDx is a unique stage to promote these kind of ideas without all the fluff around. It's very stripped to the very core. And I think that was my main drive to say, if I want to share my idea, this is the main stage that I want to do it in.
In the meantime, Emy, I also shared all the resources you provided before the session. And one of them was Toastmasters. Irena says, thanks, I'm glad Toastmasters is mentioned as a resource. It is her community of practice in preparing for coming talk at TEDx Eindhoven. Irena, good luck with your talk at TEDx. Great. Okay. I will also share in the chat if you would like to deep dive a bit in the community, who we are, what we are doing. You can also find the link to our Slack channel where we post more upcoming sessions. And also a lot of questions if you have, you can ask the community and you will receive a lot of support as well. Any more questions? No. Cool. Emy, from the bottom of my heart, I'm very happy that we finally organized this session. It took us quite some time from the May till October, but I'm happy that it happened and you shared your story. Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for dedicating your lunchtime to learning something new and hearing Emy's story. Thank you everyone. Emy.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you all for staying and listening to me. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please feel free to do so. And if you have any questions, I'm very open to it.